One thing that I know you've been working on is social media and this perceived really censoring conservative ideas. Google CEO is now going to be meeting with GOP lawmakers. Sundar Pichai going to meet with lawmakers this Friday and then again at a public hearing later this year. The move comes amid growing scrutiny against the company for allegedly biased search results, violations of privacy, renewed relationship with China. You voiced your concern with Google, I know, and you've been behind really moving the needle on a lot of this. What do you want to hear? You tweeted earlier this month that a, quote, invite would be on its way.
And if you notice from what the results from that, I had a conversation with Sundar. It was a very good conversation. He will be in my office this Friday with other members, and he is committed to coming to a hearing this year, which is a change of where Google has been. I'm concerned because 90% of all searches go through Google.
90%?
Yeah, and 95% of everybody drops off by that second page. So that first page matters a lot. There are real concerns are the conservative voices being able to come across. And I think transparency is key. You know, Google also owns YouTube. Facebook also owns Instagram. Then we had Jack Dorsey come in from Twitter as well. 2/3 of all adults get their news from the internet.
That's incredible.
And so it's only going to grow. We see it every day. But this is something you and I have talked about for months. This is something I've been leading on, and we've been able to bring those in the Silicon Valley, the CEOs, to Washington to start this discussion to make sure there is a change in the place of what has happened.
I know as a conservative you don't want a bigger government and you don't want bigger government hand on private business, but how do you deal with something that has 90% of the market?
But you know what we're finding as well? It's a real concern if you have 90% of the market. You want to make sure the market is open. There's not a monopoly there. But what we're finding now that we have been voicing our opinion, it's the conservatives that work there too have finally voiced their opinion that they have been treated poorly. Even Jack Dorsey says conservatives there do not feel safe. We had senior engineers in Facebook create their own group because they think it's mob mentality that they can't express their opinion. I imagine that the exact same thing is happening in Google. Sundar recently put out a letter after my conversation with him, making sure that employees are not putting their own political bias in. We watched that video of the day after the election of executives crying. We've watched the other memo that came out of the silent donation of using Google to try to move certain people because of the information they have on us to send them just to vote for Hillary Clinton. Those weren't my words. Those were Google employees' words about a silent donation.
Do you think the American people recognize sort of some of the behavior on the left in terms of, you know, the public shaming, the, you know, putting your finger on the scale when it comes to social media, and will that drive votes in November?
Well, I think it will, and I really think this election comes down to results versus resistance. What is the Democratic agenda? Yeah, they want to abolish ICE. They want to impeach the president. They voted on that twice. And what's more importantly, they want to bankrupt Medicare, a government-controlled system that would take away that 55% of Americans get their health care from their employee that would no longer be capable. Yeah. What would they do with the VA? It's very concerning to me, and think of the difference where you just saw that Gallup poll, where people are excited about the Republican Party. People are excited about this economy. We want to be able to continue to move that forward.
We'll be watching. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning.
Always good to see you.
Thank you so much. Congressman Kevin McCarthy, the Majority Leader.